Harris's hawk, a beautiful bird that can be found throughout parts of central and the southern parts of the United States. Charlie, however, is from Dudley, not a million miles away. It's a fabulous zoo there if you've never visited. But here at Warwick Castle, I don't know whether you guys, wave goodbye to Charlie, everyone. He's probably going to go down to the Falconer's Crest. Now here at Warwick Castle, we have a vast collection of birds of prey. And I don't know if any of you guys are wondering why we have birds here.
He landed.
I'm sure if you've watched the Viking show, or throughout the season as well, we have a jousting show. I'm sure most of you are aware as to why jousting would be featured here. It's a form of entertainment. Birds of prey, however, there is a very strong historical connection between birds of prey and Warwick Castle. It comes through the connection, however, well, the connection comes through an ancient art called falconry. Now, we're not doing falconry at this moment in time. This is just a birds of prey show. Falconry is the ancient art of training a bird of prey to be your hunting companion. So you wouldn't be just out flying your birds like we do here at Warwick Castle. You would have a hawk, you would train it to chase a specific quarry. The same with a falcon, or potentially an eagle, for instance. So that's what birds of prey were actually kept for in days gone by, the purposes of hunting. And whatever your bird caught, the bird ate, and of course the falconer could eat. It's a very, very efficient way of putting food on the table. The invention of the rifle is when falconry took its first sort of demise. It's much easier to maintain a gun than it is to maintain and keep a bird of prey like Charlie in physical peak flying condition. But falconry is very much alive today. It's practiced pretty much worldwide. Now, for us to acquire a bird of prey here at Warwick Castle, as I say, our birds are bred in captivity. Sometimes we get lucky and we manage to breed some birds of prey ourselves, and then of course they can join the flying team. But if we wanted a different type of bird, we often purchase them from breeders. So we fly birds of prey for a living. There are lots of people out there that actually breed birds of prey, so we purchase them off breeders essentially. But all those years ago, you were actually given a specific bird of prey according to your social status. In the book of St. Albans, you can find all of this information. So right at the top, there's a great big long list. There's over 15 individuals on it. Right at the very top, as you could imagine, you had kings and emperors. Now, kings and emperors had birds like golden eagles or a fabulous falcon called a gerfalcon. The biggest of all the world's falcons. It's nearly double the size of the more well-known peregrine falcon, which was given to a prince. Ladies had a fabulous bird called a merlin. Knights had a bird called a saker falcon. The best bird to have was a sparrowhawk, and they were given to a holy water clerk. But even poorer people got birds of prey, you know, and I have to say, I can tell by the way most of you guys are dressed, you would all be peasants. It is what it is. So if you were a knave, you were given a kestrel. Beautiful little falcon, however. They hover on the sides of busy roads. You may have seen them on your travels to Warwick Castle today. And barons had a bird called a buzzard. And the reason those types of birds, or those species of birds, were given to the poorer folk is because it's essentially a poorer type of hunting bird. Now, Harris's hawks weren't around in medieval times, so we are essentially cheating flying Charlie here, but it is by far the most reliable type of bird of prey for us to use. We do have golden eagles, we do have peregrine falcons, we do have goshawks, but if we brought those types of birds to the castle, they would most definitely want to eat a peacock. they would not be able to help themselves. Whereas Charlie, he's got brain power. He's so smart. He's like, I'm not going to go chasing any wildlife. David's got a bag full of food hanging off his right hip. How silly would that be? But that's what I mean. These birds are so incredibly intelligent, and therefore that's what makes them the perfect bird for us to fly here, not in just our daily demonstrations essentially, but just because Charlie doesn't have any interest in going off wanting to catch things, that doesn't mean to say that he's not a good hunter. The one thing you have to look at if you want to understand what a bird of prey can catch are his feet, because that's what they use. And I'm sure you can probably see from there, well, not all of you of course, Charlie has got feet that look far too big for his body. So even though he only weighs in at 1 pound at 5¼ ounces, he is so very, very powerful and capable of catching lots and lots of different things. Prey items that would outweigh him 2 times, like ducks for instance, rabbits and large birds like pheasants are what the Harris's hawk is more than capable of preying upon. So they really are a fearsome predator. But one of the most amazing things about Harris's hawks is their intelligence. They're very smart birds, and they're very unique as well, because most birds of prey are very solitary. So if you've ever seen a documentary where 100 vultures are all tearing apart a dead animal, well, most of those vultures don't really care about the vulture next to them. They're just trying to get as much food as they possibly can. Whereas Harris's hawks, they've got the coolest nickname ever, and they're called the wolf of the sky, because it's the only bird of prey that lives in a large social group. They are highly tuned. There's a hierarchy as well, just like wolves. It's the same with Harris's hawks, but it's the females that are in charge, because another strange part with birds of prey is that the girls are much bigger than the boys, whereas throughout most of the animal kingdom, it's generally the males that carry the size and bulk. But Charlie, as I say, weighing in at 1 pound 5¼ ounces, a female would be well over a kilo, sometimes up to 1½, so 3 pounds plus, essentially. Charlie doesn't want a girlfriend. He said he'd rather concentrate on work. It's easier. But literally, if you saw a female Harris hawk stood next to him, she would absolutely dwarf him. So when it comes to hunting, the females are considerably more powerful and more capable at holding much larger prey items. But like I say, they're a team. They work well together. The males are smaller, so they've got the edge on speed and maneuverability. The females have the size and the muscle, but what they do, they'll find a prey item and they'll use their intelligence and they'll surround it. They'll force the prey item into a choke point where there's no escape essentially. And that's when the team of hawks will seize their opportunity and catch the prey item. They're that efficient that over 60% of their hunting attempts ends up in a success. Whereas birds like peregrine falcons, the fastest animal on the planet, is a mere 20%. So 8 out of 10 pigeons will escape the pursuit from a peregrine, but over half for Harris's hawks end up in capture. But they have a vast territory, so they're not going to be having a territory the size of Warwick Castle, sometimes up to 70 or 80 or 90 square kilometres. So they've got a huge territory to go and search for food. Honestly, they're absolutely incredible birds of prey. Where are you, Charlie?
I can see him right
Is he
there.
sulking already? Come on.
He's in a tree right there.
We got one more bird to fly now. Typical of Charlie to go slow on me now, isn't it? Where are you? Hey, come on. Don't show me up now. Just telling everybody how good you are. Oh, there he is. I see him. Well, let's give him a big round of applause, guys.